We are 25 days away from opening day, and teams are starting to make trades and sign players left and right. I know the big fishes of Freddie Freeman and Carlos Correa have not signed just yet, which is good for me because I was out of town at Disneyland for the entirety of the weekend. So I will be able to break that news to you guys as soon as it happens. But for the most part, we're going to talk about the breaking trade between the Reds and the Twins. Sonny Gray is on the move. We have a few other players to talk about in regards to signings and other trades that happen. So if you're brand new to the channel, we talk baseball every single day, so don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button as well as save yourself some money on any spring training or regular season games. Use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save yourself 20 bucks off. All right, let's talk about the trades that happened over the last 24 to 48 hours. Breaking, this one happened about an hour ago, right when I got home. Sonny Gray is being shipped to the Minnesota Twins in exchange for the coveted prospect Chase Petty of the Minnesota Twins. So he is going to Cincinnati, and in return, the Twins are getting a top flight starting pitcher in Sonny Gray, who's about to be 33 years old, so he is no spring chicken, but he has a really good mid-3 ERAs and a 3 FIP over the last 3 seasons, so they are getting an ace because, let's face it, the Twins, they maybe improved their odds of winning 75 games by a little bit, but they are not going to be a playoff contender, at least in my opinion, in 2022. They are trying to rebuild and be ready for the future. They gave Byron Buxton a few amount of dollars, so again, they're trying to compete and stay level-headed, but in terms of winning a World Series, they're a few years away. So that was the breaking trade. Not really much to talk about because the Reds, they don't get better because they got a prospect, and the Twins, they're not a huge World Series contender, so there's not really much emphasis to put on this trade aside from the fact that Sonny Gray, he is pretty good, and maybe they can flip him towards the middle of the season, although I don't know why you would flip Sonny Gray considering you gave up Chase Petty, so look for Sonny Gray to be in a Twins uniform for the next few years. Chris Bassett was traded to the New York Mets. This guy was really good. He has a 3.23 ERA over his last 410 innings pitched with a sub-4 FIP. All that really means is when you take all of the defenders out of the equation, how good is that pitcher? Anytime you're under 4, that's pretty solid. The Mets gave away their top 2 arms, JT Ginn and Adam Oller, I don't know how to say his last name exactly, but both of those 2 prospects are going to the A's, so the rebuild has begun. Chris Bassett is on the move. I fully expect both Matt Chapman and the other Matt across the diamond, Matt Olson, to be shipped off almost in the next, I would give it 72 hours, give it 3 days, and I'm almost certain that both Matt Chapman as well as Matt Olson are going to be gone. But if you're a Mets fan, this is a big-time trade. Yeah, getting Sonny Gray is cool if you're a Twins fan, but you know that you're not going to be a World Series contender. But if you're a Mets fan, the fact that you have Chris Bassett as your number 3 starter, and after that you have Carlos Carrasco and anyone else that you can plug in as the number 5 guy, this is huge. Chris Bassett is a workhorse. He is a dog. If you don't remember last year, he took a line drive to the face, and I believe that he came back and pitched at the end of the regular season just a year ago in 2021. So Chris Bassett going to the Mets, that makes them, in my opinion, maybe the team to beat in the NL East. Then you guys can debate that in the comment section down below. I'm sure this is going to open up a can of worms. Is it still the Braves? Right now, I just don't know if I can say the Braves until they re-sign Freddie Freeman, and I feel like that's more common sense than me throwing out a hot take that at this current moment, the Mets, they look like they're the team to beat with that two-headed monster of DeGrom and Scherzer, followed by Chris Bassett, who was just recently acquired. And then to me, this was a big trade because I'm a big-time fanboy. No, this is not in regards to Grady Sizemore or Akil Baddoo. Mitch Garver is one of my favorite players in baseball because he's a catcher that rakes. Yeah, he's a little older, but he almost has a 140. I didn't say 114, I said almost 140, a 138 OPS plus, which means that he has been 38% better than the average hitter over his last 600 at-bats. He has been sensational. In exchange, the Rangers gave away Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who has been a platinum glove type player at shortstop. He can play any position that you want, even catcher. The only problem is he has a paltry career 81 OPS plus, and considering the Rangers have acquired guys like Corey Seager and Marcus Semien, he's not going to play shortstop because that's Seager's. He's not going to play second base because that's Semien's. Maybe they'll even go back. Maybe Seager's going to play second base and Semien plays shortstop. That's another thing that we can talk about a different day, but they had no more room at the inn for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, so they used them as bait to get Mitch Garver, and I cannot wait to see Mitch Garver sandwiched in between Corey Seager, You have Adolis Garcia, who is not a high on-base percentage guy, but he's still a fairly solid athlete. And then you throw in Marcus Semien. I really feel like Willie Calhoun can have a bounce-back season as well. Watch out for the Rangers. They are building something special down there in Texas. Now, that pretty much does it in terms of the breaking trades. Unless anything happens at the time of this recording, I'll make sure I shove it in this video. But let's move on over to the signings, and we'll kind of go through this one by one because I want to make sure that this video gets out ASAP just in case anything else breaks. We know that Clayton Kershaw is going back to the Dodgers on a one-year deal. If they did not re-sign Clayton Kershaw, to me, it was almost a guarantee that they were saving all of their money for a guy like Freddie Freeman. So Freddie Freeman most likely is going back to the Braves. That's my opinion. I really believe that Freddie Freeman is not going to leave Atlanta just because it wouldn't make sense. The fact that Freddie Freeman, I can only see him in a Braves uniform in my head, but I guess with all these photoshops, my judgment is starting to get a little bit muddied and maybe he could go. But to me, my best assumption is the Braves pony up and they do give him a pretty big deal. And maybe out of the goodness of his heart, Freddie Freeman gives the Braves a hometown discount, although I don't expect that to happen. Yeah, that's my opinion on Freddie Freeman. Carlos Rodon is going to the Giants on a pretty substantial $44 million deal over the next 2 years. This is a guy that rejected the qualifying offer, or maybe accepted a year ago and then rejected it. I don't exactly remember, but he's getting more money, and this bolsters a rotation that recently lost Kevin Gausman. So good for the Giants. They're not rolling over. They understand they have a good core of veteran players mixed with some younger players. They're about to get called up like Elliot Ramos. They are trying to keep pace with the Dodgers, and I fully expect them to going into 2022. The Blue Jays, not only did they steal Kevin Gausman from the Giants, they also stole I almost said Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray was stolen by the Mariners, and then in return, the Blue Jays stole YUSEI KIKUCHI from the Mariners on a 3-year, $36 million deal. To me, he is a fifth starter. It's going to be Jose Barrios, Kevin Gausman, Hyunjin Ryu. You have Alek Manoah, who was a Rookie of the Year candidate last year, who was really solid, almost a mini Lance Lynn, even though he's not mini. He's a huge human being, but you get what I'm trying to say. Now you can throw in YUSEI KIKUCHI as the fifth starter and move Nate Pearson to a relief role and use him like the White Sox use Michael Kopech, so keep that in mind. Nate Pearson is going to be seeing a lot of action from the bullpen, in my opinion. Let's talk about the White Sox real quick, just because we brought them up. They signed two guys. Joe Kelly, he is going to the Chicago White Sox on a 2-year deal. Chicago has like 5 dudes that can throw 98 miles per hour with movement. You have Crochet, Kopech, Graveman. I believe they have Graveman, or is Graveman on the Astros? I can't exactly remember all of the moves that the White Sox have made, but they are loaded going into the next season in regards to relief pitching, and they're good at that. I think that Tony La Russa, he really works best when he has a plethora of relief guys to go to, even dating back to the St. Louis days when they had Jason Mott, I think that was his name, and they had a few other guys that they could use interchangeably. And then also the White Sox picked up Josh Harrison, not really much to talk about, but he is joining Joe Kelly. One important signing that I want to talk about in depth real quick, you have Andrelton Simmons going to the Chicago Cubs on a 1-year deal worth $4 million. All that really means is that the Cubs have pretty much conceded they will not be getting Carlos Correa, so they have found their new shortstop in Andrelton Simmons, talking about the Chicago Cubs. And then last but not least, for the kind of the notable picks, we have Georges Familia, Walmart Kroger's version of Blake Treinen. I mean, back in the day, Familia was disgusting. Just unfortunately, he's been prone to the blow-ups a little bit more often. He has incredibly deceptive and nasty stuff, but he has no idea where it's going half the time, and he's going again to the rival Phillies on a 1-year deal. And also, let's talk about these little mini deals. We have Tim LeCastro going to the Yankees. Jake Diekman is going to the Boston Red Sox. In my opinion, he's still one of the nastier left-handed pitchers in terms of relief pitchers in all of baseball. Steve Cishek is going from the Angels, I believe, to the Washington Nationals. Alex Colomé is going to the Rockies. And speaking of the Rockies, they have a brand new shortstop, Jose Iglesias. So that is going to be the replacement in Colorado once Trevor Story agrees to a new deal with the, people are saying the Red Sox, the Cardinals. Anything is fair game right now for Trevor Story because he is that good. There's only maybe 4 or 5 teams in baseball that would not want Trevor Story. The Padres, the Mets, even though I think that Trevor Story is better than Francisco Lindor. Hot take, yes. But Francisco Lindor over the last few seasons has really declined. I'm hoping that he has a bounce back season. I wanted him to win a World Series and an MVP at least once or twice in his career. But right now, I would take Trevor Story. So that does it for today's quick little recap. I'm going to edit this, chop it up, get it out to you guys. And hopefully by the time that this one goes live, Freddie Freeman goes to the Orioles, or Freddie Freeman goes to the, what's a team that has no chance of getting him? The Diamondbacks. There you go.